Good afternoon to you, Nicky. All well with Shishkin?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we've been. Ever since Ascot, I think it sort of occurred. Certainly did to Nico and myself that it really looked as if they had him off the. He was just about flat out all the way. And if you go back to the Clarence House last year, which you rightly say was probably the best race of the season, he was off the bridle most of that race too. Energinine had him at full stretch all the way, and the only reason he got there at the end was stamina, really. And we've been pretty sure he will stay. I've got to say, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I've got it hopelessly wrong because I haven't even got him in the champion chase. We put him in the Ryanair and the Gold Cup. So, yeah, he's in good form. We have had a little wind operation as well. And, you know, and I'm looking forward to it. He's in good form. He worked yesterday and he's school tomorrow. He's got a bit of work to do. We've got a fortnight to go. He should be right. It's going to be a fair old test, isn't it? There is certainly... Who's coming over?
Joseph's horse?
Beast to Dairy. Yeah.
Who won the race last year, of course.
He won it last... Yeah.
And was Shishkin a horse, Nicky, from an early stage, although he had that ability and the speed over 2 miles, did you think at some stage he may want to go up in distance? Or he would stay further?
Like a lot of these horses, they probably just find or lose maybe a yard of their pace, and stamina becomes stronger, and they're not quite as quick as they were, or they thought they were, or we thought they were, probably.
But if he does stay, though, this opens up a whole new avenue of opportunities for him. That's
the whole idea, really. I mean, it's funny how the 2 mile division has sort of opened up over the weekend a little bit. Gary Moore's horse was very impressive. Edwardstone looked he'd come to win the race. Energinine wasn't the Energinine we knew from Cheltenham last year or even the Ascot race last year. For whatever reason, it sort of turned the form a bit tipsy-topsy. But we're not in there. It's not to say we can't supplement if I suddenly find he's still a 2 miler because he wasn't breathing properly. But I'd be surprised if that was the case. I think what I'd like to see him do more than anything is have a race whereby he can travel in his own comfort zone. And I think for the Clarence House last year, obviously the champion chase last year, forget about it. He was beaten before the first fence, but he had a fairly severe mechanical problem, which that was easily sorted. But there was no doubt at Sandown that they had him flat to the boards the whole way. And when you're having to push horses for that long, over 2 miles, I don't like to see them like that. I'd much rather see him come back and being able to look as if he's strong all the way and he's enjoying it. I think the better they travel, the better enjoy their racing. And, you know, he's a very good jumper and he wants to be able, he can make use of that over the longer distance by going a stride slower. You'd imagine they ought to go a stride slower anyway.
It's got to be quite an important day for him then, really. It's got to define how the rest of his career pans out, really.
Well, it will. I mean, if we got it badly wrong and he wants to come back in trip, then that's what we'll have to do. But he works like a horse that would stay. He's 1 point of points. He's bred to stay. And for me, he's racing like a horse that will stay. I think that's twice now we've seen him, and he's just finding it difficult to hold his own at that pace. And I'm hoping, you know, that the trip will be right here. His timing is good to take him into Cheltenham, should everything go right. That's the gist of it. Anyway, there's other things we can do. There's Aintree at 2.5 as well. But I hope everything's going pretty well. He's worked, he seems very well in himself at the moment, and we're just going to have to go down this road, I think.
And as regards Cheltenham, Nicky, do you think we're going to be asking him to stay 2 miles 5 or 3 1/4?
I would have thought it's going to be 2.5, wouldn't you? I mean, unless something absolutely miraculous turns up at Ascot to change our minds. But we said we'd put him in just in case. All these, all the doors are open except for the Champion Chase. Extraordinary, you might think. But Matt Chapman was giving me a right bollocking for not putting him in the Champion Chase. But he said, we have done his wind, and I think that will help him, to be honest with you. But I don't think that's going to bring him back to a speed horse anyway.
OK, well, that's Shishkin. Let's just rattle through some of the other big names you've got in there, Nicky. All good with Constitution?
Yeah, very good. He's in good form. He did a bit of work yesterday. He's starting on his build-up towards March has begun. He's had a fair bit of time off since the Christmas hurdle. The only thing that's really happened since the Christmas hurdle, which would sort of encourage you, would be the fact that Epatante, who's been running around finishing, poor girl, quite a long way behind him on the last 2 occasions, comes out, admittedly against much, much weaker opposition, but in a Grade 2 hurdle last Saturday and won as far as she liked. So it actually proves that Constitution was actually beating something. And that's about the only thing that's changed since Christmas.
She looked very good. As regards her Cheltenham target, Nicky, still open-ended, be it Mare's Chase or Champion Hurdle? Sorry, Mare's Hurdle.
The Mare's Hurdle or the Champion Hurdle, yeah. I mean, I haven't spoken to JP much about that yet, but she proved she stayed 2.5 at Aintree and won really nicely at Aintree last year, over 2.5. So I don't think that holds any terrors. The mare's race does look, but we've got Marie's Rock in there as well. It's not to say she's actually also in the stayers, but we'll see what JP wants to do. I mean, you've got Epatante there as a backup for if Constitution needs a backup. And again, that's going to be very interesting to see what happens this weekend, isn't it? And see how they all get on.
Yeah, Honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle and Willie's horse, yeah.
Yeah.
It will tell us quite a lot, and I should think the decision on Epatante will probably be made as a result of what we see there.
OK, Stateman, of course, taking on Honeysuckle on Sunday afternoon over in Ireland. And
yeah.
Jonbon on course for Warwick?
Jonbon is in good form. He worked yesterday, he's in the school tomorrow, and he's all on course for Warwick, yeah. And he's in great shape, actually. He just wants one more run. He's had a nice little freshen up since the Henry VIII, and hopefully this will put him right for the Arkle.
And he's beaten what's been put in front of him so far this season, but all eyes might be on Ireland as well this weekend as regards his main challenger maybe for the festival.
I'm sure you'd think it's over there, wouldn't you? Yes, we will be watching quite carefully. But the good thing is that Constitution Hill and Jonbon don't have televisions in their boxes, so they won't know what's going on.
And a quick word, Nicky, as well. Luccia, who was so impressive at Newbury for you earlier in the season.
Yeah, she had a dirty scope a while back when we were actually trying to run her in the Tolworth, and that's all cleared up. I would think there's quite a nice listed race, a listed novice hurdle at Exeter on Sunday week, and I would think that would be the likely port of call. I was always thinking I might get 2 more runs into her, but it's not finding it as easy to map that out as I rather hoped it might. So in which case it probably will be 1 run, and she'd go for that listed race down there, yeah.